All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is part one of the excretory system. We're just going to be looking at the structures and the functions of those structures, just kind of a general overview. We're not going to get into a lot of detail today. All right, so here's just a few cartoons or a couple cartoons to get you guys started. We're going to be looking at the main functions of the urinary system. So let's start. The first function is just to get rid of any of the waste. So chemical reactions are going to occur. Anything we want to get rid of, any toxins in the blood, we're going to get rid of through the excretory system. Things like urea, creatinine, uric acid. We also want to maintain the water-salt balance in our blood. We don't want to have too much salt in there. Otherwise, it can lead to high blood pressure, which we'll be talking about in the next few lessons. Also, maintenance of the acid-base balance. We know that the pH of blood needs to be a 7.4. If it gets too basic or too acidic, there's mechanisms in terms of H plus and bicarbonate ion in order to maintain that, keep homeostasis intact. And the last one is secretion of hormones, which just directly impacts mostly just the blood sugar, the blood pressure. And that will be the last one we're doing, which will be a little bit more tricky. All right, so let's look at the actual system. So we have these organs. So we have the kidneys. This is meant to produce urine. The next video that we're going to do is we're going to chop this one up, and we're going to look at a cross-section and a nephron and talk about the main functions of those. So urine's produced here, leaves the kidney through ureters, these guys here. One on each side coming from each kidney. It enters the bladder and then leaves as urine, through the urethra. So if we look closely at the kidneys to start, it's lower lumbar region, which means the lower back. It's covered by a tough capsule, just meant for some protection. And it also has this concave spot, which is called the hilus, the same thing that we called that kidney bean that we're growing. Had the little depression. Hilum. And it's also where the renal artery, which just means the artery going to the kidney, and the renal vein is going to be attaching to. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is the ureters. Fairly straightforward. These are just the tubes that are going to be connecting the kidneys to the bladder. So it just conducts the urine through those. We don't really care how many layers there are. What it does have, though, in those three layers, so I guess we kind of do, mucus, smooth muscle, and connective tissue. Don't need to know it. And the way that urine gets brought from the kidneys to the bladder is by peristalsis. That's if you're sitting up or standing upside down, you'd still be able to produce urine and have it stored in the bladder. The actual bladder is the next one we're going to be talking about. This one stores urine and it has three openings. The three openings, two are coming from the kidneys and the other one's going to the urethra. It's expandable, which means that it's able to hold some, and then if it gets full, it starts to stretch. And that's what's going to trigger these stretch receptors that will give a nervous impulse back to the brain and tell you that you need to go to the bathroom. We'll get more into the actual mechanism of nerve impulses in the nervous system. So for now, you don't have to know any detail. Just basically, hey, send the message to the brain. You need to go take care of business. And just like we have in the stomach, there's two sphincters, and these sphincters are meant to open and close to release urine into the urethra. So speaking of the urethra, all it is the external or the tube that's going to take the urine to the external opening, right here. We know that in males it is longer than in females, and in the males it also carries the semen, and the semen with the sodium bicarbonate is able to neutralize some of the acidic urine. And the last thing is urination. Like we were talking about, there's stretch receptors in the bladder that tell you that it's full, usually around 250 milliliters. We already talked about it, that being impulse. We don't care that it's a motor one. We're going to get into that in the nervous system. What it does is it causes the bladder to contract, which will be squeezing out the urine. There's a word here, micturition. I can never say it, so guess what? Cross out. Urination, a lot easier to say. This whole mechanism we're going to get into a little bit when we talk about the nervous system, but for now, you don't have to worry about that. So for all you guys, the only thing that you need to know is just the different parts. So know the general pathway, and then what is happening. So the function of each, and just know the main functions of the excretory system. Yes, I slurred that a bit. All right. So if you guys have any questions, write it down, and we will see you guys tomorrow. And again, if this is Morgan, we'll probably see you in about 4 minutes in class. Have a spectacular night. Hopefully this sounds better. If it's not getting recorded again.